What is up, YouTube? It's boy Milsey, back with the Hometown Commander. We are back for another episode of Let's Get Brawlin, the show where I bring the Brawl decks that I either play regularly or new Brawl decks to you and have some fun with some gameplay. And today we are looking at one of my favorite Brawl decks to play, and that is Jetmir, Nexus of Revels, aka the Great Catsby, Tokens. This deck is all about going wide with tokens. And Jetmir is going to buff all of our creatures depending on how many we have. 3 of them gets us +1/+0 in vigilance for each creature. 6 total creatures gets us that and +1/+0 in trample, and the magic number is 9. With 9 creatures, we get +3/+0, vigilance, trample, and double strike, which ends games. This whole deck is built to get to 9 as quickly as we can while still maintaining our advantage. We have a mid-range game plan, so we're going to lose to some things, as you'll see in the videos, but I think the games that we got for you guys go to show you how much fun this deck can be to play, why I really enjoy playing this deck time to time. You never know what hand you're going to get, you never know what you can get to get there, but the last few sets have given us so many great token production cards, so we have so much access to fun stuff. And this deck is a absolute blast to play. You get to 9, you swing with double strike, and you deal massive damage. Check the games out, deck list down in the description, and I will see you guys next time. Let's get brawling, baby, with Jetmir. First game up against 4-color Atraxa. I got a pretty safe 3-lander here. A couple options once we get there, but let's give it a go. Remember, Jetmir's all about going wide, getting to that 9-creature section, and ramming into our opponents. I think I'm going to go for the Scry here on the Forsaken Crossroads. We do have a good mix. I see a double white card in my hand, so maybe we'll go white here on the Crossroads. Get the Virtue. I think I'm going to bottom it for now. We're trying to look for some more gas. We've got the Krenko for turn 3. We've got the Darien to help protect our tokens. I think we got a solid hand so far. Normally what we're trying to do is on turn 2 play some sort of token generation, 1/2 creature type thing. On turn 3 do the same thing, get a creature down. We will have to deal with Atraxa at some point. My hope is that we can get some value on board before we have to deal with the Atraxa. So Krenko next turn we'll be able to start attacking, although unfortunately we do potentially have a threat of Atraxa coming down on the board, so I think if we don't see Atraxa come down, we jam the Krenko in and hopefully get our tokens. If she does come down, I think we, go for the Esika's Chariot, get set up for a couple more tokens. But I expect to see Atraxa here just because it's a tough body to deal with. I mean, right at the end of the day, it's a 4/4 we have to deal with. All right, let's crack the passage. Not seeing much red yet, so I think I'm going to go for a green. Well, we do have a green in our hand. I guess logic would say we could go for another red. We have another white source there. Let's do that. And then I think we'll play the Chariot. This will at least get us 2 more cat tokens, and I think we'll just pass here. I don't really see the benefit of hitting into the Atraxa. That is a 4/4 with Vigilance and Death Touch. Lifelink and Death Touch, so they're going to get the 4 no matter what. Ooh, doubling season. Okay. Does it have Vigilance? It does have Vigilance, so that kind of stinks. Getting the free attack in here. So I see 2 routes we can go. I see 2 routes we can go this turn. We could set up for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 March of the Multitudes, and then get Jetmir down on our next turn and win the game. Or we could try to commit to the board a little bit more. What intrigues me here is, what do we think Atraxa is going to have? Because the March of the Multitudes for 5 gets us up to 8 creatures. 7 if they get rid of Krenko. Jetmir plus animating the Chariot would get us up to 9 and have our lethal play. So I think that's what I'm going to go for. Now what I could do here is attack with Krenko, get the 2 Gobos, and that would still get me into the same position. So it's going to look really dumb, but I think this is what I'm going to do. Just to get the two goblins. Obviously they're going to block Krenko, and that's perfectly fine. So again, the game plan here is try to untap or get to their end step without losing our board, hit the March of the Multitudes, cast Jetmir, and we should win the game off of this combat. So the question is going to become, what interaction do they have? Board wipe would stink, but again, we can recover with at least a pretty small March of the Multitudes. Interesting. So Masterminds, I imagine, is going for Wash Away here. I mean, that's what I would imagine they're going to get for 1 single blue mana. We could still get around this with Adeline and just ramming in with our tokens. So this is going to be the tough turn. I think we still here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We actually go up on the Multitudes. And those all have lifelink, so that will be beneficial. So I think more than obviously they have the Wash Away. It's probably what I got for it. So I think I'm going to go Adeline and Darian. The reason here is because this is going to give us the widest board we can have. And now I'm going to slam in for all this damage. We'll animate the Seeker's Chariot because this doesn't have first strike. So if it wants to block the Chariot, it's more than welcome to. The Chariot will make us a copy. Let's go with the Lifelinker. Okay, so we have 14, 16, 18, 21, 26, and they're going to gain 4 back. Now, the good part, if they have a board wipe in hand, is that King Darian can actually protect our board here. We're not protected from a bounce board wipe. If they play, River's Rebuke, there's nothing I can do. But we do have a defense for any actual board wipes. Draw the cards. Okay, so they can play cards from their hand without their mana costs. Okay, so our hope is that they try to board wipe. If they do, we can sacrifice King Darian in response to give all of our tokens hexproof and indestructible, and then we should win. Hopefully on the next combat. Because we would lose the -1 we would lose the +1/+1, but I'm hoping maybe it can assist us here. All right, doubling season really stinks. Ooh, that's a bummer. Okay, yeah, that stinks on the Chariot. I kind of would have liked to have the Chariot to power up, but again, we're waiting to see what their plan is. We see a Liliana. I imagine they're going to have us what? Discard or sacrifice? I mean, you'd think sacrifice. Oh, that's a problem. Well, let's find out how this goes. I imagine they're going to put all our lands into one pile and all our creatures into another pile. Conversely, they could go half and half. I mean, if they pick... Yeah, so they did a pretty good job at splitting up our permanents half and half. I see Adeline in one pile. And I see the Darian in one pile. I think I have to pick the Adeline pile. I don't really have oh, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, that checks out. So I think we're dead either way here now. That was absolutely killer. That's the problem with the doubling season now, is any Planeswalker they put in just gives them that free value. Beseech the Mirror, interesting. Probably going to get... I actually don't know what they would go get at this point. But if it's a 4-mana spell, they cast it for free. Or I guess anything they cast for free. Well, might as well do the Darian. Give everything indestructible. Not that it matters, because I think we're just dead on this at this point. Plowshares. Like I say, we can recast the Chariot. But that emblem, I think, is just going to spell the end of the game for us. Yep, Time Warp does it. And we fall to Atraxa in our first man. What a bummer. We had it set up. We made the decisions we needed to make, but at the end of the day, Atraxa decks do Atraxa things, and we drop game 1. All right, I felt like we were supposed to do game 1, and it didn't work out for us. This time we have Thalia and the Gitrog monster. Very interesting deck. Hopefully we can get around and get ahead of the deck so we don't get hosed too hard on all of our things coming in on tap. 4-lander with Arcane Signet. I like it. We have the Valet, which is a very dangerous card in a deck like ours. If you guys have seen any of the Reddit posts of people getting Devilish Valet pretty big. We'll start with the farmland since we have no reason not to. It'll help us decide on these. It can maybe help us decide on these pathway lands later. Get the Arcane Signet down. So now we can get Adeline down next turn if we want to. Although we have no way of attacking, so we would just be running Adeline out into removal. I don't hate the idea of getting the valet down either. Okay. And the Esper Sentinel. Okay, so if I play the Prosperous Innkeeper, I can actually get Adeline down as well, so I think I'm going to try that. Next turn, we can look to get the Valet down and attack, which would get it some value. Okay, Lotus Cobra for the value off the land. Let's see what they choose to do with it. 2 mana for Shieldred's Edict. We'll get rid of the Prosperous Innkeeper. Obviously, we don't really need it at this point. All right, so even if I put the ground in, there's nothing I can do with it. The Devilish Valet would go up to a 2/3. They'd have to block completely out, and none of these have Death Touch, right? Put that in tapped. Let's get to swinging. The 1/1 will come in, doubling Valet's power to a 2/3. Adeline's a 3/4. I mean, they could just not block. I mean, they don't have to block, but they can. So they get rid of the 1/1, but that's okay. We still get in for 5. I'm trying to think of what our we can get the Wandering Emperor out working. Ooh, Shieldred's tough. Guess we get rid of the Valet. Yeah, Shieldred's a problem. I don't know. Okay, well, we draw into the Chariot, which can at least get us up on some creatures. We'll pay the 1 since we have nothing else better to do with it. And I think we just gotta pass through, try to live another turn. This is where this deck can get kind of awkward. We played out of our spells, didn't really draw in anything but lands. I think we're gonna run the risk of being in some trouble. I mean, not much left in their hand. Of course, they're gonna get the mana, I would assume, for Thali at this point. And okay. We can still accrue the Chariot to block, but of course nothing there. Let's see, Hunwer Garrison, so that can get us things to attack. We could also conversely wait and try to Wandering Emperor. If we Garrison now, that's 4. And then in the next turn, if we Garrison now, that's 4. On the next turn, it would attack 5, 6, 7 from the Adeline, 8 from the Chariot, 9 from Jetmir. So I think we just do this. It's going to come in tap because of the Thalia. We're going to pass. So next turn, we would look to play Jetmir. That gets us up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. 6 to accrue to Chariot, 6 to get up to Chariot, and on attack, 7, 8, 9, and 10 from the Chariot. 7, 8 from Garrison, 9 from Adeline, 10 from the Chariot, and that should be enough to get our attack in. So I'm intrigued to see what is going to come of this turn. Obviously, they need to deal with the board. If they have any sort of board wipe, we're dead. I mean, that just comes to be known in any mid-range deck, right? If you get one board wipe, you're dead. I'm hoping we don't have any removal, but I mean, that's kind of just obvious at this point. We can actually Wandering Emperor on our turn, depending on what they do. Okay. Do I think they have any 2-mana removal? What's stopping them right now? They did have a stop there. Is there any abilities that I can think of that would be doing it? Okay, so they could have removal. The question becomes, how much do I think this removal is gonna, let's see, if I do this, that gets me up to 6. I think we just gotta see. I mean, I can crew the, oh, it comes in tap, that's right. I don't think that matters. That didn't stop at all on the removal, did it? That didn't hold priority at all. So I think we're good. We crew with one of our cats. I think we swing, and we should get to 9 with the Garrison attack triggers and the Adeline trigger. They're all going to come in, trample double strike, and that. So this should be a lethal attack, specifically because of that Adeline. Because even with a first strike blocker, it's still going to kill him, and we get there. Yeah, we're looking at, and that's the best part about Jetmir is with them all having double strike, you see a lot of people try to block up, but unfortunately with the blocking, they have to remember that first strike damage is going to go through and hit them hard. Let's get into the next game. Brawling with Jetty, baby. Let's do it into Ratadrabik. Ratadrabik's a really fun deck, and it's a deck that can be interesting at the same time. I was going to say, hopefully we can catch our curve, and we certainly can. We can probably turn 1 Lanimar into turn 2 Esper Sentinel and Avacyn's Pilgrim, I'm thinking. That should set us up for, what, a turn 3 Tendershoot Dryad? And then all we need is we're going to have to play that Crossroads as a red source unless we draw a red source off of our next draw. So we'll eventually need the red for... Jetmir. Let's see. Okay, release the dogs. I'm thinking what we're going to do is pay 2 life, Avacyn's Pilgrim, and Esper Sentinel. And we'll pass it up. So now the intention here is Crossroads for red, and then we should be able to, should come in untapped. Comes in tapped if you were the starting player. So it's going to come in tapped, unfortunately. But that's okay. We could still release the dogs, make a bunch of tokens. Okay, Fatal Push. I think I'm fine with that. Still, well, there it won't let us release the dogs because we'll be 1 mana short. But I think that's okay. We could draw an untapped land, and it still works out to be our plan to release the dogs, and we do. So let's just release the dogs, get a bunch of 1/1s. We'll get in with this. So we're at 6. I still don't have my red source, so I think this turn we get this down for red. And again, if we draw an untapped red source, we're golden. We don't. Okay. So I think I put this down for red. I like the... Oh, it does come in untapped. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're still 1 away. I kind of want to do this for Ratadrabik just to slow him down just slightly. Curse of Silence can be really important for that. I can attack in. The problem with attacking in is Shambling Gas just blocks one of them, kills another one of them. So we have to just hope we don't have a board wipe. We don't. We see the Celestis. Okay, so that's about all they're going to do this turn. And again, we push them off. We've pushed them off of Ratadrabik for another turn. So I think I'm going to get the Tendershoot Dryad down this turn and then look to Jetty next turn. They could have removal. So we do see the Plowshares come out. Draw the card. We'll gain 4. All right. So the Vantage is going to come in tap. So I could get Jetty and the... I can get Jetty and the Scrap Girder down in 1 turn. That only gets me up to 8, though. Ooh, Strike Team's not a bad idea. I do have enough to kick it, but I don't think that does me any good. 6. Yeah, I could do this and Scrap Gorger. I could just Scrap Gorger and this, and then set up for Jetty next turn. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to set up for Jetmir next turn. I don't want to attack because they have a good shot with the Shambling Ghast. They can now play Ratadrabik if they want to, which I'm not opposed to at all. I have no fear of Ratadrabik. We'll happily draw the card. They have 1 mana. If they have the removal, they have the removal. But at the end of the day, we have redundancy. We have 8 creatures. All right, so here comes the tell. Jetty hits with no stick. And this should be lethal. We have 6, 9, 13, 17, 21, 25, 29, 33 first strike damage here. With Trample, the only thing that we're going to care about is Shambling Ghast. But again, even if it knocks out 1 creature, I believe they're still dead. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to say if they didn't block enough, but there we go. Double strike again, coming through for us. And this is what the deck's trying to do. Get to 9, hit that big swing, and most of the time it doesn't really matter what's on the battlefield. As long as you can get to 9, you're going to jump through for a big attack. Let's get on to the next one. One of my favorite parts about Jetty has just been upgrading it with new token cards as they come out. Every new set I always look to see what token, creators we get. Here we're going into the Gitrog monster. We have Avacyn's Pilgrim or Gilded Goose on turn 1. We could raise the alarm or Devilish Valley on turn 2. I mean, we're a little bit off 4 mana, but I think we can probably get ahead of this Gitrog player. So I think I'm going to Gilded Goose turn 1. That would allow us to Pilgrim. Would that allow us to Pilgrim? That would allow us to Pilgrim and raise the alarm turn 2. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Get the Gilded Goose down. That'll then allow us to tap for a color, mana of any color with that food. Turn 2, I'm going to lay down this Plains, use this to tap for the green, and then we can raise the alarm on their turn. So we'll get the Pilgrim down. Again, no need to block here. We have the Soul Partition if we're that worried about something, but I really want to try to raise the alarm here. Cultivate. Yeah, don't really see any point in stopping that. So raise the alarm gets us up to 4. Devilish Valet would get us up to 5. All right, let's see if we can do this turn. So rally at the Hornburg. I don't have enough mana to rally and Devilish Valet. Rally would get me up to 6 creatures, but it's not going to get me up. I don't think it's going to finish right. I mean, it's going to get me 5 damage. I could Devilish Valet and see what they have, but that doesn't leave Soul Partition up. This leaves Soul Partition up, which is what I think I'm going to do. I mean, my thought process is we could Soul Partition. Oh, I tapped the Pilgrim. Damn it. I was going to say we could Soul Partition Gitrog as soon as it hits the battlefield, but that tapped the Pilgrim. I didn't mean to do that. So I guess now we're just going to have to wait till our turn to use the Soul Partition. He's going to end up getting value off of that. All right, well, we got a Soul Partition to Gitrog at this point. I have no other choice. Do I shock this in for the Valet? 6, 7. Jetty would be 8. We can't get to 9 that way. We could burn down the house next turn for the 1/1s if we wanted to. Part of me just wants to shock this in for the Valet. And go ahead and go. I don't know why I'm attacking with the Ghost, but we're attacking with the Ghost. Next turn, we're still one. If we find a 1-mana creature, we would be in Jetty range, but we're not. What are they going for? The Valet. That makes sense. It is the most dangerous, especially with this burn down the house. If nothing changes, I think we just burn down the house, get the 3 1/1s. Ooh, Adeline is certainly a enticing thing, because that would get us an extra creature, but the burn down the house would just get us 3 extra 1/1s. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's get the 3 extra 1/1s and set up for next turn. We can either Adeline next turn or Jetty next turn. Obviously, I want to Jetmir next turn because it's going to be a better chance at lethal, but we want to provide ourselves with good options. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not lethal on board, unfortunately, because if that Gilded Goose had 1 more power, it would be lethal on board. But again, our goal is to play one of these 2 next turn and make the attack. If we play Adeline, we have it lethal dead on. Okay, 1 short. My gut tells me that I should do this to see if they have a counter spell. Conversely, I do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I can't do this and Fable the Mirror Breaker. I think I'm going to try the Adeline, see what they have. I think we're okay with them killing Adeline as well, because we have other things in our hand, and I want to see if they have the removal. They do. All right, well, we're going to tap for the food so that we have access to this next turn. I don't want to wait too long to get that extra mana down. Now we would be able to... if we drew a land, we'd be able to Jetty and Fable the Mirror Breaker if need be. Okay, and they scooped up. I was wondering if they were going for the... Are they going for the Blast Zone? They could... Well, they can't, because Blast Zone, these guys are all 0s. But yeah, I mean, what ended up really honestly doing it there for us was just that... was that Soul Partition, getting rid of the Gitrog. It's why I still play Curse of Silence and I still play stuff like Soul Partition, is because you never quite know when hitting someone's commander at the right time is going to stop their strategy. I know Curse of Silence is 1 card in 99, but it is beneficial to our format in Historic Brawl to push someone's commander back potentially at least a turn. I mean, I get it. It's why Pithing Needle and things like that get banned in Historic Brawl, because obviously you don't want to stop someone from just being able to play their commander. But again, this is why Wash Away and those cards are so important, is because if you can, line them up on somebody's turn to counter their commander, and, it goes well. Look at this game. We never played Jetmir once, but we were just able to build our board wide enough that because they're a deck that cares about having Gitrog down, they weren't really able to deal with us. And I think that's the important part of understanding a deck like this, is it's not just about slamming Jetmir, because I could have slammed Jetmir there and it would have gotten removed with the Hagra Mauling. Why not run a creature just as dangerous out, see what they have? Because they don't know, right? They don't know what I'm playing. They don't know what I have access to in my hand. And so why give them this Jetmir? Because let's say they don't scoop it there. I hit for the 7, and they try to take out one more thing, or they don't know what to do. They just replay Gitrog, well, then we just Jetmir on the next turn. So sometimes it's tough quite to know what's going to happen, but I always like to try to show as little as possible, or try to bait other things with what I can. But let's rock into the next. Well, we start the games off with a bummer there against Atraxa. I give it a couple of new ones. We're up against Ratadrabik again. I don't believe this is the same person I just played. So this is another Ratadrabik deck. We get the Curse of Silence turn 1, which I like. We don't have a red source, though, so that's kind of killer. Oh, how much do I bet we're going to draw into red? I can't. I have to. Okay, nothing on turn 2, but if we get a land, we have access to a couple things on turn 3. I hit the mulligan button, so I have to do it. My gut kind of tells me I probably should have kept that first hand, but let's see. All right, well, they have access to most of my hand with this. I imagine they take the War Boss or the Krenko. Those are the two more important, or I guess Krenko is probably the most dangerous thing of the 4 of them, but they take the War Boss. Turn 2, we fail to see another land, so we have one more turn to draw one more land. If we don't, we are in a ton of trouble. I would like to get a land for this Mycalid. That would be my choice. Vantage comes in on tap. We'll get the Mycalid down. Myconid, sorry. Okay, so that gets us our 4th land. It gets us another creature. I think the next turn what do we do? And a Duress. Okay, wow. So we get Envision of Kozilek and Duress. That's kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I imagine we should be okay. My gut tells me Krenko. Get it set up. I have no reason to attack. And we're kind of at the mercy of this Ratadrabik deck now, unfortunately. Man, two hand effects in back-to-back. That's just... It's not surprising. That's all black decks are on Historic Brawl now, is just... Liliana Shieldred, removal, or hand effects. I mean, it's something you got to expect. Mondrak. Okay, no sack outlet yet, so we're still safe. What do we do with this? If we go in untapped, we have Tristani. If we go in tap, we can do Bredegard. I think I like going for Tristani. I kind of like the idea of Krenko. Yes, it's going to die, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it would set up for Jetmir on our next turn. So I think this is my play. If they have a board wipe, I'm dead. If they have removal for Tristani, we're in a tough spot. But I need them to not get rid of any of my creatures, and we have lethal with Jetmir on board. Nazgul. Nazgul does start a fun train. If they had a sack outlet, Nazgul can go pretty infinite with Ratadrabik. Okay, well, I've got to hope that spell in their hand isn't removal. If it's removal, does Heroic Intervention do it? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. They have a lot of blocks. The problem is if I do this and they get rid of it, I can't attack, right? If I attack and they get rid of this, we're in a world of hurt. If I do this, I'm hitting with a bunch. I think I got to do this. Now, the worst case scenario here is they get rid of Tristani. They get rid of Tristani, they all go down to 2/2s, and it's a little bit less good of an attack. But I think I still have to take this attack. So get 2 copies of the Nazgul. They become 3 3s, 4 4s, sorry. Holy crap. We're in trouble. Well, let's think about this. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, or 18 right now without blocks. With blocks, that's 18 going through. And then all we would need to do... Oh, are they going to be able to game this for enough blockers? Oh, now I'm dead on the backswing, aren't I? This is a problem. I didn't realize they could do that multiple times. Eek, yeah, we're just dead. They have to block. And they have to block 1, 2, 3. To block at least 4 creatures, which they can do now. They can just block out. Yeah, I mean we're clearly dead on the backswing. I appreciate them having fun here, but I mean all they gotta do now is block and we're dead. What a bummer. Well, we had to make the call. I forgot that Mondrak had a sack outlet on it. Had I known that, I mean, it wouldn't have changed my play. I guess what? Logic dictated I should have Jetmired there, but we still are in the same scenario, and we'd be what, 12 on first strike? Yeah, I guess Jetmir would have won us the game there. So I guess that's on me for, yeah, I guess that's on me. I should have played the Jetmir instead of the Heroic. But hey, I didn't know, right? If they have removal, then I'm just as equally screwed. So I think that's one of the tough scenarios where you got to just kind of decide what you play. So again, Jetmir would have been lethal because all those threes would have been... all those threes would have been sixes with fives with double strike, so we would have been lethal on first strike. But again, I thought they had removal, 1 card in hand, open mana. I mean, it's tough to know. I guess logic dictates next time I'm just gonna play Jetmir. But hey, I like it. The deck did what it was supposed to do. We put ourselves in the right position, but we just lost it. But let's get into the next one. All right, let's get brawling time with Jetty. I don't want to cut these losses. I want you guys to see them because, again, it's about learning with your deck. It's not just about winning. It's about learning how to play our decks better, and every day we can learn something. Okay, turn 2, Paradise Druid. Turn 3, Hordeling Outburst if we want to. We have the Plowshares removal. I don't hate this hand. In fact, it gets us up to 4 mana, so I think I'm willing to try it. Let's just hope that our opponent doesn't have a better start than we do. And a Thoughtseize. Cool. Do they take the Plowshares? Do they take the Outburst? Paradise Druid, of course, would be the worst thing for them to take. And they don't. Cool. Yeah, black hand removal just makes me so mad. It's aggravating because it just ends up being a nuisance more than anything else. All right, so are we I guess we're self-milling because that's what Squee wants to do, right? You know, get into the graveyard, get it back to get into the graveyard to get it back with a big creature. I've seen people do this with Grizzlebrand. I've seen this do them with plenty of creatures. Yeah, I don't particularly care about the milling. Okay, so I think we Hordeling Outburst. Next turn, we can, what, Fable and a Regal Bunnycorn? That would get me up to 5, 6 creatures. And that still doesn't fix my problems, but Bunnycorn is going to get pretty big. If we can give it Trample, maybe we have a good shot here. I think I'm going to Fable into Bunnycorn next turn unless I draw something different. I feel like this is a... Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like this is up against a clock here on our plans. Ooh. Let's Fable Passage for the White Source. I'm kind of thinking about... Fable and this Intangible Virtue, because then these tokens don't tap, and I can get kind of in for free damage. Like, I'm going to try to take the damage here. It could be dumb, but 5, 6 with Bunnycorn. I can Bunnycorn into Jetmir, and I feel like that could be a decent amount of damage next turn. I feel like we're at risk of a board wipe here. Pretty big one, too. I mean, I'm okay with them taking out the Druid. Okay, Grave Titan. We're going to end up milling, which kind of stinks, but it is what it is. soul partition. I'm going to decline. I actually think I like this. So we soul partition the Grave Titan, and I just dump Jetmir. That makes him into 4s and the Gobbo into 5s with Trample and Vigilance. That actually might even be our play. So let's try it. This turns them into 4s and 5 with Trample. It's going to be darn close, but let's do it. That's 12, 17 with Trample, so they're going to live by just that little bit. I have a gut feeling they're looking for something out of their graveyard. Man, what a time it would be for a... I don't believe we have any living death effects in Historic Brawl yet. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Sure. Okay. So this flips. We can... Let's see. We could get down a Bunnycorn. We could join the dance. I guess the question becomes, what are we looking to do? We can this... Oh, we can do this in Toski. Let's do that. I don't know what my plan is at this point. The board wipe hurt. I mean, like I said, we were expecting one. The question just becomes, what do they do now? I mean, obviously they're loading their graveyard up, so I'm expecting something big. But I'm just not sure what. I haven't played against enough Squee decks to know what they're building for here. 7 mana. 7 mana is a lot of mana. Especially when they could just be holding a Crux of Fate. They could be holding so many things. Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. Yeah, I gotta let this go. I really need an untapped land. An untapped land would fix a lot of my problems. Nope. Alright, I guess we join the dance. This has to attack this. Oh, the problem with Real Bunnycorn attacking is if they block with the Squee, they get to do whatever they want on their turn. Acidic Slime is bad. Vorinclex is bad. Kogel is bad. I almost feel like... Yeah, but if I don't hit another land next turn, I'm in the equally same spot, and I'm going to end up milling 6 cards. Oh, this is such a bad position. This, they block the Squee, they put anything they want in front of Toski, and we let them use Squee's ability. I think this has to be my attack. I don't really like it, but... I don't like this at all, but... I need exactly one untapped land, and I think we have enough, and then we have enough for lethal with Jetmir. I just need to hope that they don't pull out anything too crazy. Yep, not blocking the Squee. I know exactly what they want to do with that. Get that in the graveyard, use its ability. Okay, so they play out for a Grave Titan. Yeah, the problem is I need this land. I need this land so bad, and I have a feeling I'm not going to draw it. Yep, there we go. Well, I think that's probably game. I mean, the question becomes, how long can we outlast... How long can I outlast this board? I have 56 cards left. I guess Kiki Jiki can make a copy of... Alright, well, we'll attack with Toski. We got 6. Unfortunately, Kiki Jiki can make it 7. I still think with Jetmir out, we're in a good position next turn, but this Miracle Orb is just going to end up hurting us. We're taking 1, 2, 3, 4 milled cards at the moment. My thought has to be they have to draw into some sort of sack outlet. I'm surprised they haven't got one yet. Just try to get rid of this Squee, because as soon as this Squee hits the graveyard, we are dead. We are very dead. There's so many options they can pick from. Because right now with 1 land, Garrison gets us up to 8. Jetty would be 9, and it would be plenty lethal. What does Razakith do? Okay. So there they could sack the Squee. But they don't have the mana to do anything with it. All right, I'm gonna no block in the hopes that we hit a. Let me think of this. Beginning of the next end step. So in their end step, I can copy the bunny corn, right? Get that extra creature just in case. I'm still afraid of what this is. If this is any removal, then Jetmir doesn't even fix the problem. It's all going to come down to, do I get a land, and B, do I have enough to hit them in? I mean, heck, I'd take a trample enabler at this point, but, oh, man. Okay, I'm intrigued to see what they get here. I mean, any red removal spell would do it. Because they don't have to show me the card. So, okay, they play the Witch's Oven. To sack what? The Squee? Alright, if this is the way this should work, this should get me a bunny corn for my turn. And it does. Okay, ton of Mesmeric Orbs. All right, I need one land, one untapped land. Let me do that very slowly. I need one untapped land. All right, if they have any removal, we're dead. But if they have nothing else, this is lethal. So let's find out. It hit the pause. That could be for Razaketh. Remember. Okay, we have a bunch of first striking tramplers. So if they have nothing to get rid of Jetmir, this should be lethal. They can cat oven all they want to, but it's not going to fix them. They have no mana for... they have no mana for... I'm intrigued why they're loading up on this Regal Bunny Corn. What single black spell can they have? Or are they just trying to kill the one Bunny Corn to be funny? Well, we'll put the Razaketh first, obviously. What do they have? They get rid of Jetmir, they're still dead. Yep, and that's it. Whew. Oh my gosh, what a game. That was crazy. We Purple Points, had we given up, we definitely, I mean, we could have given up there with how many turns we went like getting milled. I would love to see what we ended up milling through. Man, what a game. This is why I love Jetmir. Even in the fun matches, they can be squeakers, and it just ended up being that extra bunny corn. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we didn't need it. We would have had enough. But hey, it just goes to show you that with that extra bunny corn, you know, it made us. And that was 50. That was 47 on first strike damage. That wasn't even the regular strike. So man, what a game! And let's rock on to the next one. All right, let's go one last game, brawling with Jetty against Davriel, a deck that I seem to always have a bad time against, but let's see how we do here. Turn 1, Delighted Halfling. Turn 2, Paradise Druid. Turn 3, Hordeling Outburst, I'm thinking. Unfortunately, if this could get me a man of any color to get this Horde Burst, that'd be great, but I think we have to... Okay, Blood Chief's Thirst, perfectly fine. Let's do the Thicket, and then the Paradise Druid. Okay, this sets us up for a turn 3 Hordeling Outburst. Let's see what they have. I mean, I'm expecting a lot of removal. I'm expecting a lot of hand mess. Let's get the Esper Sentinel down. Let's get the Hordeling Outburst. That gets us up to 5. Still a little bit outside of Jetty range, but we could drop this in Jetty and just take a good attack if we want to, depending on what their board looks like. I expect Davriel to come down and... I would imagine come down and do a condition, but he could also come down and... Oh, Key to the Archive. Interesting. So if I put Jetty down, we're looking at 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. If I put Jetty down now, we're looking at 16 damage, and it would force them to deal with Jetmir. And then we might have a chance on the next turn to have some fun. I say let's do it. Let's go aggroed in. They all have Vigilance. Down to 9. We still have the plowshares up, which is helpful in some scenarios. Well, I'm expecting Blood on the Snow. I'm expecting Wrath of God. There's plenty of things we could have access to. I doubt they're gonna pay, because they need to pay for whatever they get. Yeah, okay. I mean, Languish does it, right? Languish wipes my whole board. There's plenty of things that wipe my whole board. Yeah, there we go, the Languish. Yep, I'm fine with that. We put down the Goose, we put down the Battle for Bredegaard, and we rebuild up to the next turn. They use their whole turn to get rid of my whole board. I can do this, the Goose, and Bredegaard, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Start rebuilding back up. All we can do is try to rebuild back up here. I mean, we were dead to a board wipe anyway, no matter what it was. Okay, so we see Davriel come down. They could go for the -3 under the Goose if they want to, but I expect them to do the offers and conditions, so let's see what they pull. I don't know what the list of offers and conditions are. I've never bothered to look. So they draw 3, and then creatures they get -1, -0. Karn the Great Creator. Well, that shuts off Arcane Signet. I think we get down the Fable. Well, would logic dictate I should go in at the face? I think I'm gonna go in at face. I have a gut feeling I'm still in a tough position. 8 mana. I mean, there could have a myriad of different things. A Liliana Dart Horde General would be a bad time. There's a lot of things that would be a very bad time, no matter what. Jetmir on board, I believe, is lethal, because I'll have 6 creatures. So if we can manage to live back to our turn with what we have on board, I believe we can do this. But I have a gut feeling they have to have something. I mean, yes, they can get rid of the Arcane Signet, and I can't tap Gilded Goose for mana because I have no food left. So I guess I have to draw land now at this point. All right, well, we'll Plowshares the Archive. Might as well. I mean, they're going to get it out of our hand anyway, so we might as well just get rid of it. Still in the same position. I need an untapped land, and we might be okay. 2 1/1s and a 2/3. Yeah, it was okay. Get 3 extras there. Yeah, might as well. Okay, we do get the untapped land. Jetmir isn't lethal now because... wait a second. 4, 6, 7... Oh. Yeah, we gotta try, because now that Gilded Goose can... Ooh, now Gilded Goose can hit in the air. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... Oh. They're trampling. Oh, we did it. I was gonna say it was close. 10, 12. I don't think it was lethal, but we will happily take it. Jetty gets the win. That's the last game for the video, guys. Deck list will be down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.